Hello, I'm John Conroy. I am fourth generation farmer, part-time to some extent, on the Conroy Farm in Beekmantown. My ancestor, my great-grandfather, John Conroy also, who was known as Grandpa Con, moved here from Ireland in, I believe, 1834. He was 5 years old. He walked down from Quebec City with his parents, herding a flock of geese, so the story went. He eventually settled with them on the S-curve in Beekmantown on the old Route 22, which was a bit of a stone farm and a poor man's farm, I believe. He, at some point, when he grew up, they settled on this farm here in 1860. Initially, they worked here clearing land. Their previous owner had died. They used their payment for a down payment and took title to this place in 1870. And since those days, it has been run as a farm up until the present. Back then, during the Civil War, it was sheep, wool for the war. After that, it was hay, horses, and, of course, mixed crop farming, like was common in those days and in those times. The bigger market was hay shipped to New York City to feed horses until cars and trains and trolley cars took over completely. And from the Depression days onwards, it's been a dairy farm. And presently, my son Simon runs the beef operation, Scottish Highlanders organic grass-fed beef. So 5 generations have worked this farm at this point. And he has a daughter, Julia, who hopefully will attend Harvard and possibly come back to visit. Anyway, and that's pretty much. Actually, we raised thoroughbreds too here for a period of time, and are really in the process of getting back into that, possibly under Lachwyna bloodstock on the same piece of land, though, as the original Conroy Farm from 1860. Courtney Hunt, the writer and director of Frozen River, had been a frequent traveler up through the North Country to Malone, where her husband was born, and still had a family home, who was the executive producer on that, on Frozen River. Courtney initially came and stopped by Conroy's Organics, the farm store on Route 9 north of Plattsburgh, approximately 5 miles, because she had seen the signs traveling up the Northway. And she was interested in having someone cater the movie crew when they came this coming winter, if in fact that worked out. She was also looking at Winnipeg, Manitoba at that time. They had offered her a good package, but the distance was too great from New York City, she was thinking, since their whole crew really were New York people that were coming up to work in this area with their equipment. Of course, people talk of making movies. It's a difficult process, but lo and behold, Courtney showed up with Chip Houlihan, the main producer on that movie, in February of 2007, and said she was hoping to begin shooting in a week. Of course, this was the first we had heard of it, and she needed location. She needed a great deal, but of course it was easy for me to locate them and to find locations because I knew the area pretty well, and there was nothing extraordinary that she was looking for. Country roads, boat launch sites, access to the lake, trailers, normal, what's quite normal up here actually, similar to the reservation area up near Messina. So we began in a week's time, week and a half's time. The crew showed up, and